Ciao, guys. Welcome back to the Artful Podcast. It's Matteo, your host. And before we go on with the new episode, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, support the channel like that. It's really important. And no further ado, let's go on with the show. Even if it's been done before, I don't think it's never enough, especially if it comes from like a really genuine point of view, and you just want to do good. So it's always good to have those like people like you that are interested in this, and they spend hours and hours. Like myself, like if you're painting, I'm imagining you painting oil. So yeah, it takes hours of your days, and if you spend as much time like you do, and then exactly when you see those miles maybe in the opening, it's you're just like, oh, everything is worth it. Everything's worth it. And I was really curious about all the well, for what I understand, the symbolism that you use through all the object and all the like, let's say, the information that you give through the canvas with it's not just a portrait, as we can see behind you, all these like object that these kids are surrounding them. If you have a particular reason, why do you decide to do this kind of like compositions in the painting?
I think initially, honestly, I think when I first start doing it and putting everything around, like surrounding the kids, I was initially just trying to find a way to surround them with color, right?
Mm.
Because I wanted to, I didn't want it to be initially I wanted the painting itself to stand out, right? So I kind of
Yeah.
worked backwards, right? So I surrounded it with color. And then um I realized like it was more than just a composition, and I wanted to tell something through each, like all the symbolisms and each things like that. So what I did was I kind of went back to the drawing board, and I really just start like literally drawing, so, and coming up with ideas and worlds to put the kids in. Then I start pulling from my own past, and I have two small children, so well, they're not so small no more. I gotta stop saying that. I got an 11 and a 7-year-old.
They're
I
always gonna
still
be small that day.
exactly. They small, but I be thinking of them like babies.
Yeah.
Um, and you one thing about me and my wife as parents, we really allow our kids to be themselves, and we encourage them to like be themselves and see themselves as whole people. So I really start looking at my daughter and my son, and start looking at the different you know things that they like, the things that
Mm.
they love, and they want to see and they want to surround themselves with. So that's where all like the stuffed animals come from, right? Most of that stuff is actually my daughter's stuffed animals. So it's me taking pictures because she love all her stuffed animals. So I start thinking
Amazing.
of like, in terms of like just surrounding her with, a world of things that she likes, and the things that, because that particular part of it was important to me because as I was saying earlier, in terms of seeing the kid as a whole person, and seeing connecting my experiences working in schools, I those are parts of like Black art that I want to kind of differentiate what I was doing, because sometimes I don't always want to see like the struggle part of it.
Mm.
Sometimes it's more just like the happiness of it, and that's just as important to me. So,
I like
when I
that.
see my daughter with all her toys, or when I see her with all her stuffed animals, or even when I buy her another one, a stuffed animal, or plush animal, whatever, plush toy, and just how her face light up, that part is important, just as important as whatever cultural struggle that
Mm.
us as Black people went through. And that's still relevant, and that still should be talked about in art. And but at the same time, we don't want to lose fact of the fact that the happiness is just as important, and just to show that that's something that should be praised as well. So that's really what that comes from. I want vibrancy in the paintings, but I want to show the beauty and the happiness of the kids as well. So that's where I kind of start surrounding it. And then sometimes like one series of paintings I have, it is more serious. It is more kind of talking about speaking on like issues in American culture and race relations and stuff like that. And I don't like to do that such as like in your face. I like to do it subtly, and I like to do it still with a good composition, and I like to still want to draw people in, versus just telling them what the painting is about. Sometimes people would tell me like, "Oh, this is what I think," and I actually like where they come from. So I'm like, that was actually deeper than I even initially said about the painting. So, I still love that, and I still love that conversation and interaction with the piece. So, yeah, if that
I think the way you're explaining your art and the way you're doing your paintings, I think that's the best way of bringing those issues up. And when it's not when it's too much in your face, most of the people, they just react just instinctively, and they're like, okay, this is too much. I don't want to hear another one. And the story of struggles and stuff like that. And but when you do it like that, when you do it like the way you're doing it, I think it comes it just gets deeper into people. And because I was seeing your paintings, and there was something that was it was really pull me in when I saw first your painting. And obviously not knowing you and not knowing your story and why you're painting, I didn't know what it was. But now that you're explaining it, it makes a lot of sense. And you could see the happiness and the joy in these paintings, but at the same time, there is an underlying of like all these issues that they represent. And that's beautiful. I think that's the best way of doing any anything that regards like social issues. That's the best way of doing it. And the approach for me is the best. It's, to be honest, it's really close to what I do as well. There is a series of drawing that I do. It's been going on for like a couple of years now. It's about immigration. And when usually people, because obviously I'm an immigrant myself. I've been living abroad for like more than 10 years now. Be around a little bit around Europe, be in England. Now I'm in Berlin based, but I'm from Italy originally. So when usually, that's why it's close to me as a project. So when people think about immigrants and immigration, usually the first thing they think, it's this like really tragic and dramatic story, which they are, unfortunately. But at the same time, there is a lot of people like me that just want to travel and do experience, and yes, build a better life. Because if I left my hometown, it's because there was not a good hometown. If it's not, I would not leave my hometown.
Exactly.
100%. Yeah, build a better life. But at the same time, it's not always this dramatic life experience. So it's really close, and I really relate to your point of view, which I completely agree.